Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we are going over a real estate market update for here in Maryland so that you can get an idea of exactly what to expect. So whether you are looking to sell a home or buy a home, I hope this information helps, and let's get started right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel, where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information that you are looking for, then you are definitely in the right spot, and we really appreciate you being here. And if you are thinking about making a move here to the area, if you're wondering whether purchasing a home or selling a home here in Maryland is the right move for you, we absolutely love helping out in any way possible. So however you feel most comfortable reaching out, whether that's by phone, text, or email, days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. All right, so as mentioned, today we are going to dive into some of the numbers of the Maryland real estate market. Maryland Association of Realtors comes out with some great data every single month so that we can kind of gauge and get an idea of exactly what our local real estate market is doing here. I'm going to focus on Central Maryland, which is going to be pretty much Baltimore County on down, heading towards DC and the counties that make up that region. Again, this information is definitely a little bit lagged, so we're going to be going over February's numbers since they just came out recently here in the last week or so, and we're going to dive into that right now. All right, and the first figures I'm going to go over is going to be Maryland's average numbers as a state, and then I'm going to jump into some of these local counties that make up Central Maryland. So to start, Maryland as a whole, we are looking at units sold year over year. So we're going to be comparing February of 2023 to February of 2022 is down 28%. So we're looking at a reduction in overall number of units sold of 28%. So that's in 2023, we've got 4,268 units sold as a whole. And then in 2022, in February, 5,923 units sold. And this continues to be kind of the number one reason as to why things are continuing to stay competitive, why values have not gone anywhere yet in Maryland. So when we're looking at that, significant of a decrease in units sold, it's hard for values to really start going anywhere. So now we are starting to see some homes sit on the market. Pricing becomes very, very important if you're a seller in this market, making sure that you're not overpriced, because that's when we're starting to see homes sit on the market longer. But overall, we are still very much in an inventory crunch. So there's just more buyers than there are willing and able sellers. So keeping that in mind, especially if you're a seller, is something that's really important. And then jumping into average price across the state of Maryland, we are looking at an increase year over year of 3.7%. So an increase from $416,914 to $432,500 here in February of 2023. And then the median price has also increased 4.2% year over year from February of this year to February of last year. That's an increase from $360,000 to $375,000. And then in February of last year, in regards to inventory, we were at 0.9 months of inventory. And then in 2023, we're at 1.1 months of inventory in February of 2023. And I want to kind of speak to this real quick. When we're talking about inventory, if you kind of hear that language thrown out there, that's really just the absorption rate. So that's kind of how we tell and gauge supply and demand in the real estate marketplace. So anything typically under 3 months of inventory is going to be traditionally a seller's market. And when we say of inventory, that means if there were no new homes to come onto the market, how soon would all existing properties on the market sell? So when we're saying in February of 2023, there's 1.1 months of inventory or 1.1 months of absorption rate, that means it would take 1.1 months for all existing homes on the market to sell, and there'd be no more inventory left. So if you hear that language around, that is exactly what that means. All right, now we're going to jump into the local counties that make up Central Maryland. Again, that's going to be from Baltimore County heading on down towards DC County. We are in a dual metro area here in Maryland. So you've got some of the more southern parts of the Central Maryland region, like Montgomery County and PG County, heavily tied and influenced by DC's market. And then you've got areas like Baltimore County, Howard County, and northern parts of Arundel County that are more, heavily tied to Baltimore's market. So kind of keeping that in mind, but really when you look at Baltimore and DC, they're really only about 45 minutes apart. So having those two markets so close together is really a big factor in keeping values elevated as well. All right, so first we're going to start off in Baltimore County. We've got a units sold decrease of 26.6%. So again, a pretty steep decrease year over year. So, just continuing to see that carry over month. So we'll see how that continues to progress as time goes on. Average sales price in Baltimore County is down year over year in February, 4.5% from $357,000 to $341,000 in February of 2023. The median sales price in Baltimore County is up 0.8%. So the median sales price actually did go up year over year. And then you've got months of inventory in Baltimore County sitting at a little under 1 month of inventory. So still very tight inventory in Baltimore County. Then we're going to move just south into Howard County. Howard County's transactions and units sold is down 24%, from 247 units sold in February of 2022 to 188 units sold in February of 2023. We've got the average sales price in Howard County leaping up 11.8%, which is pretty crazy year over year. So that's up from $525,000 up to a little over $587,000 in Howard County. The median sales price similarly is up 13.6% from $440,000 up to $500,000. And then we've got the months of inventory in Howard County sitting at 0.6%. So whenever you're under 1 month of inventory, it's still a very extreme seller's market. So another reason why we're going to continue and have continued to see multiple offer situations in some of these counties. So whenever you see something like that, it's the level of competition is definitely going to follow from there. And then moving west, we've got Frederick County, which is just a little north of a lot of Montgomery County and pretty heavily tied to DC, with 270 heading straight south into the greater DC area. So you've got that market in Maryland that's continuing to grow. We've got units sold in Frederick County down 20.3% year over year. We've got an average sales price in Frederick County down 0.7%. So that's down from $493,000 down to about $490,000. And then you've got the median sales price in Frederick down actually 7.8%. So that's down from $481,000 down to $444,000. And then inventory still does remain tight, and that's 0.8 months of inventory in Frederick. Now we're going to move east, and we're going to go to Anne Arundel County. Anne Arundel County is a very large county, and it's actually pretty tall, if you kind of think about it that way. So it's pretty tall north-south running, and you've got the north part, which is pretty heavily tied to Baltimore, and then the southern part, like as you get down into Gambrills, Crofton, you've got that closer to actually DC. So it's a pretty big county tied, depending on which area you're in, to multiple different metros. And you've got Anne Arundel County down 27% when it comes to units sold. So that's down from 618 units sold to 449 units sold in February of 2023. You've got the average sales price in Anne Arundel County up 3.1%, and that's up from $492,000 up to $507,000 in February of 2023. And the median sales price jumped up 7.1%, so that's up from $425,000 up to $455,000, and then inventory similarly is 0.8% months of inventory in Anne Arundel County. And then moving south, we've got Prince George's County and we've got Montgomery County, both bordering DC. So these are heavily influenced by DC Metro. We've got Prince George's County down 30% when it comes to units sold year over year. We've got average sales price up 0.9%, and we've got the median sales price up 1.8%. That's up from $393,000 up to $400,000. And then we've got inventory sitting at 1.1 months, so still pretty extreme seller's market there, being just over 1% or 1 month of inventory. And then we've got Montgomery County, which is down 25%. As far as units sold, we've got average sales price up 8.6%. and median sales price up 10.6%. So that's up from $495,000 to $547,500 for the median sales price. And then months of inventory in Montgomery County is sitting at 0.7%. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Just a quick recap: with all these central Maryland counties having under 3 months of inventory, it's going to be hard to see values go down too far. If anything, they're probably going to stay pretty stabilized or maybe even increase, depending on kind of where demand goes here as the market continues to get settled in and used to these higher interest rates, at least from 12 to 18 months ago. If you have any questions about our specific market here in Maryland, please feel free to reach out anytime, and we'll see you at the next video.